Hello again, and welcome to another Balance Your Productivity live on Facebook, hopefully. And I run these every Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. GMT, unless it's posted otherwise on my Facebook page. And you can find out about when I go live and listen to the live session, or pop a comment or watch the recording if you follow and like my Facebook page. Also, feel free to add any comments in under each recording, and I'm happy to get back to you with responses to those or to answer any questions. Or if you are able to join me live, then I will answer your questions live while keeping an eye on what's going on. So in this next, certainly couple of sessions, maybe 3 sessions, I'm going to be covering working from home, because it is something that more and more of us are doing these days. I've been doing it myself for the last 14, 15 years, I guess. And this is my home office, small room in the house, which I guess is where an awful lot of people set up their home office, in the spare room. So what I want to cover in this session is just some of the pros and cons around working from home, where the real benefit is of working from home, what some of the downsides are that you might not think about when you're working from home. And also then in the next session, I'll go on, look at some tips and ideas to help you work more productively from home. So as I said, I've worked from home myself for many years now, and I enjoy it. I know it doesn't suit everybody, but I love the flexibility of being able to work from home, which I think is one of the great benefits. So the pros for working from home is that you're working in your own environment. You can set it up how you want. You can also work hours that suit you, so you don't have to stick to a rigid 9 to 5, 5 days a week, if that's not the way you want to work or what suits you. So you can work as many days in the week as you like, or as many hours, and fit it around other things that might be going on. You can create your own boundaries around your time, and it gives you that flexibility of working, which is where the work is moving much more into flexible working. Particularly if you are you have a family and you have children who are around or at home, you can work flexibly around that. And people are working from home now either because they're running their own businesses, so they work from home pretty much full time, or they might be running part-time business. They might work full-time from home if that's what the company has set up for them to do. I know a lot of people who do work for large businesses and organizations who also work from home. Or it might be that you have the opportunity to work from home on an ad hoc basis, or when you're particularly busy. It is one of those suggestions that I make, that if you want to get a lot of work done and you're finding it distracting in the office, then go and work from home for a day or a couple of days. So that's one of the benefits of working from home, is that you are away from the distractions that you would normally get in your office, from whether it's work email or the phone ringing or other people just being around you. With the open office environment, it can be fairly noisy and distracting. So being able to work from home gets you away from those normal distractions around the office. You also have the benefit of avoiding the daily commute. A lot of people will be commuting from at least half an hour to an hour and a half, perhaps even longer, on a daily basis to get into the office, and then getting back in the evening or the end of the day. You're getting caught up in the rush hour, busy trains. So if you work from home, you can avoid that time traveling and make better use of that time by actually getting on and doing some work, particularly if you are busy. You can be your own boss when you're working at home. So as I said, you're not going to get so distracted by everybody else around you. You can create your own plan and your timetable for the day, and you can really just get your head down and get on with it. I think we've probably got over the idea these days that if you're working from home, you're sitting around in your pajamas watching Jeremy Kyle all day. Certainly when I was working in the corporate environment, in sort of the business world, and you did go into the office, flexible working had just started to come in. So there was flexibility around the hours that you could work, but also in certain situations you could be, you were allowed to work from home. But there was always that slight element of perhaps uncertainty or distrust about what you were actually getting up to, and that working from home was not seen as well, they're just bunking off for the day. And I think that attitude certainly has changed, said, with more and more of us now working from home and running businesses and just getting work done in that home environment. So I think we've pretty much got away from that. But some businesses haven't totally opened up to that. And it is one of the real benefits, I think, is that you can be far more productive when you're working from home, particularly if it's on an ad hoc basis. So you've got more control over your own time, and you can manage all those distractions and interruptions. Because you work flexibly, and I think one of the benefits of working from home is that you can have that flexibility around your home environment as well. So it doesn't mean that you're stuck in your office from 9 to 5 days a week, but you might want to start early so that you can finish earlier. You might start a bit later because you have other things to do, particularly if you have family and children around. You want to be able to drop them off at school and then come back, get on with some work, pick them up at the end of the day. And that can be a real benefit, particularly for dads who perhaps don't get that opportunity when you're stuck in traffic or stuck on a train at those times. So that's a good reason for working from home. And also not feeling too guilty about taking time out to do some of those things around the house that perhaps you need to do while you're working from home. That can be one of the benefits of having that flexibility. You can get these things done during the day rather than having to get everything done and rushing around doing all the chores and those tasks at the weekend when perhaps you could be doing something else. So there's that balance between getting work done and working flexibly. On the downside, some of the cons of working from home is that it can be very isolating. And I think I particularly found this at the start when I first started working, and particularly as I work with most of my clients over the phone, is that isolation of being on your own in your home office, working all the time, and the only people that you see or that you hear from are your customers and your clients. And you don't get that the water cooler conversations that you have with people in the office, the sort of catching up, going for coffee breaks with other people. So it can seem quite isolating if you work from home. And if you're a person that likes to be around a lot of people, it doesn't always suit everybody. You will also miss out on the sort of the buzz of people working around you. Sometimes that can be quite an energizing environment, depending on what the type of work is that you're doing, as well as being distracting. And so with sort of email alerts pinging off and mobile phones these days, phones ringing just generally, and that chatter, there is an energy that you can get from having other people around you. So that can make you feel quite isolated if it's just you working on your own quietly in your office. And one of the ways of dealing with that is to actually get out and about during the week or during the day for meetings, whether it's social or whether it's to meet up with work colleagues, so that you're not feeling quite so isolated. You also don't have that sort of change in scenery of moving around an office. So that's something else that you can do to feel less isolated is to go and work somewhere else. I quite often and actually it's when I find being in the office distracting, or I know I need to get an amount of work done. It's either sort of writing, whether it's an article, blog post, or my newsletter, or to get through a whole sort of series of things. Perhaps it's just going through emails or doing some responses. I will go off and work in one of the local coffee shops. So that can be a good way of dealing with that isolation. And also, if you think you're going to get distracted by all the chores that are piling up around you, I was just talking to somebody the other day about the distraction of getting the washing done. there are those things that need to be done. There's the sort of the cooking and the cleaning and everything else, going out and doing the shopping. You can end up getting very distracted by all of those things and not getting on with the work that you need to do. So that could be one of the downsides of working from home. The other thing is that obviously your home office is there. It's in a room in your house, or even if it's on the sort of the kitchen table, it's there, and it's much more difficult to walk away from and switch off and shut the door at the end of the day. So the fact that we've got the technology, and particularly with laptops, it's very easy just to constantly stay connected, to be working later and later, and allowing that sort of boundary creep into your evenings and your weekends. So that's one of the things to watch when you are working from home, is making sure that you draw a line between work time and home time, particularly if you've got family around, young children or your partner, then making sure that those boundaries don't get too blurred. So you actually end up working more hours. So watch the hours that you're working when you're working from home, and make sure there's that balance between getting work done, working flexibly, and not allowing it to take over just because the office is there. You can, in the recent conversation, you can work very flexibly as to when you start, when you take breaks, perhaps having a longer lunch break, spending time with young children around, but then getting back to work, whether it's in the evening and the weekend, as long as that work time is balanced throughout the week. So you do need to be realistic about working from home and have the right structure and routines in place that are going to help you to work more productively, more effectively. And it's not for everybody. I found with quite a few people that started up their own businesses working from home, just found that it didn't work for them. So they ended up renting out a small office or working in co-working space, which there are more and more of these days. So going in and having other people around you working in that office type environment, even though it's just you working for your business, you've got that buzz and that energy of having other people around. You can have those water cooler moments. You can have that energy that comes from working in an office. So it doesn't suit everybody. If you want to find out more about working from home effectively, I will be covering some more tips and tricks and some ideas and some how to set up your office environment and ideas around structure for working more effectively in the next session. But there is a free PDF that is available through my website. So if you would like to get hold of that, then just go along to my website, claireevans.co.uk, enter your email address, and you'll get a copy of that for if you are working from home. If you have any questions or you've got any particular challenges and sort of what ifs around working from home, then do pop them in the comments below and I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you on another session. Meanwhile, take care.